All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Please throw a thumbs up if you can hear me. Please throw a thumbs up if you can hear me. Thank you so much, Edith. Thank you, Marcrine. Thank you, everybody. So karibuni sana. Welcome to today's webinar. My name is Patrick. I'm the events manager from Cloudforce Sky, and we are very happy to have you guys with us today. Yes, and we'll be having more people joining us. So as they join, they are likely to find us tukiendelea. Apologies in advance. Today's webinar will not be recorded, sadly, because of some technical hitch. So kindly bear with us on that point. Yes. Karibuni sana. I can see Brian is on the call. Christine, karibu. Clinton, I can see you. David, karibu sana. Edith, Evans, Fatma, Lewis, karibu. Our presenter for the day, Marcrine, is already with us. Nahashon, karibu sana. Na kuona hapo Onyedika. Yes, I hope I've pronounced your name rightly. Karibu sana, welcome, most welcome. That name sounds Nigerian. If you are from Nigeria, most welcome. Karibu means welcome. Skili, karibu sana, and yes, Steve, I can see you. Most welcome, bro. Most welcome. So karibuni sana. Yes. So I'm not going to take a lot of time before I call our host, before I call our presenter. I'm just going to make a small introduction of who Cloudforce Sky is. So we are a community of cloud enthusiasts, because I'm seeing we have some new guys. Maybe they need to know who we are. So we are a community of cloud enthusiasts. We are a people who are passionate about cloud, and so we've come together in this community to learn about the cloud and build using the different resources, different tools that are in the cloud. So that is who we are. And if you want to know more about us, you can check our community page. But there we have a community page, Cloudforce Sky. If you had joined us earlier in the other page, please make that migration, but you're going to make that announcement in due course. For everybody else, welcome to this webinar today. So we transition over to the webinar, and today we have Marcrine. Marcrine, hi. Checking on Marcrine. Marcrine, hi. Is Marcrine with us? Oh, sorry. I need to allow her microphone. Just a second. Leah, can you do that for me?
Hey.
Yes.
Yeah, it's on. Now it's okay.
Awesome. So how are you?
I'm fine.
Are you ready for the session?
Of course, yes.
So Marcrine is one of us, and she's going to introduce herself, and then she's through this wonderful learning. And I hope you are as eager as I am. So Marcrine, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Patrick. I'm Simbi Marcrine, an admin in this community, Cloudforce Sky, and I'm the one who comes up with the weekly challenges, and yeah, I'm also a developer and I'm also a Devops Engineer. So we are on challenge 9, and I released it on I think last week. So we're going to go through challenge 9. I'm going to take you through it so that if anyone was stuck before this meeting, they can be able to go back and do it on their own, and then send their links and maybe come up with nice articles about it. So I'll share my screen. Patrick or Leah, please allow me to share my screen. So as I wait for Patrick or Leah to allow me to share my screen, challenge 9 was about creating EBS snapshots. And as you all know, EBS volumes are like let me say, flash disks. So they're like attached to your EC2 instances. And then when they're attached there, they'll be able to store everything that you do on your EC2. So they are, okay, it's kind of a storage. It's a storage. Let us just call it a storage volume. So, Leo Patrick, I'm waiting on you to allow me to share my screen.
Uh-huh. All
Can
right.
share your screen now.
Okay, it's still disabled. Okay, so as we wait, so like I was saying, EBS volumes are used to store your data from your EC2 instances, and we have different ways of creating EBS volumes. You can choose to create an EBS volume and then attach it to an EC2 instance. But by default, when you create an EC2 instance, you can choose to create an EBS volume along with it, and it will just come attached to it. So anything you do,
Marcrine, you can try now.
okay, thank you, yes. Now you can see it. Thank you, Leah. So let me just share my screen, and I hope everyone can see my screen. If you can see my screen, can just, yeah, thank you. So we'll go through our challenge. So challenge 9, we had a problem statement. An organization operating in a cloud-based infrastructure relying on AWS needs an efficient solution to take daily snapshots of its Amazon EBS volumes. So you can see already the statement. They're saying that this organization, they need to back up their data, so they have to take a snapshot of EBS volumes daily, on a daily basis. So the next statement says that currently they have to take the snapshots manually, and taking snapshots manually, it's time consuming because and you can also get errors if you're not careful, because you might come up with a setting or maybe configure something that you did not mean to, and then it will lead to errors. And also for time consuming, maybe let's say they have a system, and that system, maybe the developers have pushed their changes, like let's say 5 minutes ago, and then someone else pushes it 10 minutes ago. So like you have to take snapshots like after every 5 minutes or 10 minutes, and then maybe later in the day, maybe during the night, you have to wake up and check that snapshot because they have changes. So this organization, they need an automated system to take the daily snapshots for them, so that, okay, to improve data backup and recovery processes. So the project objectives were, you need to create a system that automates that process of snapshots, and retention policy. So for this one, retention policy is where you create like a life cycle, so that when you have snapshots and maybe they are a day old, they'll be deleted automatically, so as to avoid a lot of cost and storage and all that. So you need to come up with that policy. And then you can also error handling. This will avoid a lot of errors when you do it automatically, because yeah, it will just take the snapshots automatically. Cost, I've just talked about cost. Security, when you create snapshots, you have an option to encrypt them, and if you have a volume that's encrypted, the snapshots will be encrypted automatically. So, and these are the expected outcomes for challenge 9. So for this challenge 9, I'm not going to do everything for you. I'm just going to walk you through it, the process. Maybe some of you don't know how to go about it on the console. So we're going to go through the console. And as you all know, you need to interact with the console, so that even if you're coming up with a script, you'll know exactly what you're doing and exactly what to expect. So that's what you're going to do it manually. So yes. So we're going to start from an instance, because that's what we're trying to back up. So I created one, but I'll just create another one. I don't know if we have beginners in this session, like total beginners in AWS. If there is any, or maybe mid, okay, you can just thumbs up or raise your hand so that you can know how to take you through this. Yes, you can see we have some. Great. So we're going to start from the beginning of everything. So, like I said, an EBS is like a flash disk, the one you plug in your laptops. And a laptop, in this case, okay, this is a bad example. We'll take our laptop to be an EC2 instance, but EC2 instance is not a laptop. It's a, okay, what can I say about it? Maybe I should pick someone who can explain it better. Aha, I have someone here. Anyone? Kevin. Kevin, are you there? Kevin Tuei.
The way I was trying to close my eyes, I wish people could do that or look away.
Sorry. Okay. Tell
Anyway,
us what's an
okay,
EC2 instance. Yeah.
okay. So you can first of all, it starts the way you just said. We start out with a computer, which
Yeah.
can be physical. Then we go to something like a virtual machine. Well, before we used to just have it in our laptops, like using something like Oracle VirtualBox or VMware, and then now we now move to a public cloud, where instead of having it within your hardware through an hypervisor, you now have it on the public cloud. So basically, what that means, if I could just analogize it, it would mean that the way you usually use our Gmail is a form of a cloud as a software as a service. Now we go a bit deeper on that, and we now, instead of just having Gmail, we want to go deeper and have the infrastructure that runs Gmail, so that we can now use it for anything, not just Gmail, but use it for our own things. So that is how I can put it.
Okay. That's great. That's great. And Lewis has shared a YouTube link. So I'll get back to my AWS. So we'll create an EC2 instance. You just come there, and I'll call this challenge 9. Let me just type it there. Challenge 9. Yeah, challenge 9 server. Okay. An EC2 instance is a server. And you can pick the image you want. Maybe you want Linux. Maybe you want Windows. Maybe you want macOS. For us, we're going to go with Ubuntu. Yes. And then you select the AMI, the machine image. Of course, it has already selected. It's just the same thing. When you select it, it also selects there. So I'll select Ubuntu. Let's just wait for it to load. Yeah, there it is. So for this, we're going to use the free tier. So the T2 micro. And then for key pair, because I'm not going to SSH into it, I'll just proceed without it. Yeah. For networking, network settings, security groups, you're going to select existing ones. And because we're not going to talk about security groups today, so we'll just select the existing one. And technically, we're not going to access our EC2 instance. We just want to create the EC2 instance, get the EBS volume, create a snapshot, an AMI image, and maybe a launch template. So I'll go step by step. So this is the storage, configure storage part. So we'll go with the default, for the free tier, and then we just need that, and then we can just launch our EC2 instance, just like that. And remember, an EC2 instance is just like a machine. So the EBS volume is like a flash disk. Yeah. So you can attach multiple EBS volumes on your EC2 instance. The same way you can you can plug in multiple flash disks on your machine as long as you have the enough ports. Some have 3, some have 2, yeah. And that is it. So we wait for our EC2 to be up and running so that we can check the EBS volume attached to it. Or, okay, we can just go with ours, which is here. Let me just filter this so that you can see the ones that are running. Yeah. So we wait for this one to, waiting for the status checks to pass. Okay, it's always good practice. Yeah. To wait. Yeah. So as we wait, if anyone has a question, you can proceed. Okay. So I think everyone is okay. Kevin, yes, go ahead.
Okay, just wanted to ask, you created an instance and the EBS volume was not encrypted. Would there be any challenges we might need to foresee, or is it deliberate, or what should we get? Can we snapshot an EBS
Okay.
volume that is
Yeah.
unencrypted? Or yeah, I think you get
So
the question.
when you create an EBS volume without encrypting it, when you create a snapshot of it, you can actually encrypt the snapshot. So every volume that you create from this snapshot will be encrypted. So, and if you have an EBS volume that's encrypted, when you take a snapshot of it, it will always be encrypted. So you have an option. It's not closed. Yeah. Kevin,
Yeah,
is
sure.
that okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll even demonstrate it once this one completes. Actually, it's just a few steps. So we are on the, let's say, should I say the developer side and the DevOps? Okay, yeah, when they are creating the infrastructure, now their EC2 instances are up and running, and now they keep pushing changes, maybe through a CI/CD pipeline, and the changes keep coming. The EBS volume continues to grow, yeah, such things. So our EC2 is ready. We can go to the storage to check our storage, and as you can see, it has a storage. Okay, let me just go slowly on this. I think someone has raised up their hand. Steve?
Hi, Marcrine. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Um, as you before you choose the size of the EBS instance,
Yes.
what do you normally take into consideration so that you know you need 100 GB or 20 GB?
Okay, for that, it will depend with your workload. So, for instance, if you're trying to deploy, maybe you're using WordPress for your website, you cannot use 8 GB for WordPress because it has a lot of things and you need more. You need more volume. So it will depend. But if it's for demo purposes, you can just use a small 8 GB. But if it's a lot of workload, you need more. You need more, even 100 GB. So it will depend with the load of work you're going to put in that EBS volume. Just the same way when you go, maybe let's say to buy a movie, you cannot buy a movie for 10 GB and you expect it to fit in an 8 GB flash disk. Yeah. Steve, was that good enough?
Yes, it was. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So you can see here, you select the instance that you've just created, and then you go to the storage to check the one you've attached, and you can see this is ours, and it has a feature. So delete on termination is yes. This means that when we delete our EC2 instance, it will delete the EBS volume, but you can always choose to keep it. So if you want to keep it, to keep the EBS volume, you should select this delete on termination to be no. So Now we have our EBS volume. We go to volumes right there. And let me find it. Yeah, it's here. So you can always check, you select the EBS volume. And for this one, you can see down here, the attached instances is the instance that we've just created, challenge 9 server. I hope up to there everyone is okay. So right now we finished the process of let's say, okay, we have our infrastructure and now the developers can push their code to our EC2 instance, and the EBS volume is keeping track of it, and it's growing, of course, because of everything they're doing. Now, you've been tasked. Now that organization has come to you and they have told you that now they take the EBS snapshots manually. So we're going to do that manually first to see how it works so that you can know what's going on. So this is our volume, and now we go to, let me just give it a name so that we can keep track of it. Challenge 9 EBS, like that, and I'll just save it. Yes. So now we go to snapshots. We want to take a snapshot of our EBS volume. So I'll just come here, create snapshot, and you have a choice. Okay, options. You can take a snapshot of a volume or an instance. But for today, we're going to take a snapshot of the volume, our volume. So I'll come here to the drop down, and ours is challenge 9 EBS. We want a snapshot of that. You can just give it a name. Let me just call it challenge 9 snapshot. Snapshot like that. And then you can add tags. Maybe let me just give it a name, and I'll just give it the same as the description, like that. And that's it. And then you can click create, and then we wait for it. So it will take a little bit longer, maybe 2 minutes. And this, okay, okay. In fact, it will take, this is short time because our volume doesn't have anything and it's just tiny. It's 8 GB. But in cases where you have like 30 GB volume, of course, it will take time to get that snapshot. So you'll have to wait, and you can see the progress down here. Right now, it's at 9%. And we can wait. As we wait, you can ask your questions. Okay, and it's already available. Like I said, it's a tiny volume. So once it's available, you select that snapshot, which is challenge 9 snapshot, and then you come to actions. From actions, you have options. You can choose to create volume from snapshot or create an image from snapshot. But first, okay, we can create a volume from snapshot, from our snapshot. And to create a volume, just come here. You can also choose different size and different zone, and then you can encrypt the volume you want to create from the snapshot. Yes, and you can choose a KMS key. You can use, I'll use the default. This is just an encryption key, and you can also add tags. Yes, and then you can create the volume, and the volume has successfully been created. So Kevin, I hope you've seen what I've done with the encryption. Yes, Kevin?
Yes,
Great.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
Marcrine.
so that's where encryption comes in. And yeah, next, I'm going to create an image from our snapshot. So, assuming that this organization, they use auto-scaling groups, they have a load balancer, and they have, okay, yeah, an auto-scaling group. So like it should automatically create EC2 instances instances once the old ones have been terminated, or maybe something goes wrong. So in that case, an auto-scaling group needs launch templates. And launch templates, they need images. So in that case, let me just go back one step. You come to your snapshot, the one you've taken from the volume or the instance. It will depend. But for our case, it's for the EBS volume. So you come here, you create an image from our snapshot, and you can call this challenge 9 image img. And then I'll just use the same for our description, like that. And the architecture can remain as default, everything default, and you can choose to have a larger volume. And then it should always, okay, you can choose to have delete on termination, so that when you delete the image, it also deletes the volume. So we create the image. Our image has been successfully created. When you go to our AMIs, we find our image there. Let me just give it a name like that, challenge 9 image. So now you have an image. The next step is to create a launch template to pick this image. So you come to launch templates, and then you create a launch template. So I'm going to call this challenge 9 launch template 1. I'll just give it the same description, and then the images you're supposed to use. So you can go to my AMIs, and from the drop down, you'll have the images that you've created. So you select the one we created, challenge 9 image. And remember, this is kind of a replica of our EBS volume from the EC2 instance we just created. So I've selected that one. Instant type, you can choose the free tier, and key pair if you want to SSH, but we don't want to SSH anywhere, so we don't need it now. Security groups, we select existing ones, and then you can choose to add new volumes, but we're not going to do that. And then you can just click create the launch template. So our launch template is up. So anytime the auto-scaling group comes here, it will always use the latest launch template. And for launch template, you can have versions. You can have different versions in one launch template, and you can set the version as a default. So I'm going to show you that by creating another image. So okay, I'm just going to repeat the same process. So I'll go to snapshots, and this time I'm going to create an image from this test. This one was already existing, I created it before. So I'm going to create an image from this, and I'll call our image test img. And then for description, it's going to be the same, like that. And then I'll leave the rest as default and create our image. Now I have two images. So in this case, let me just give it a name so that we don't confuse. So what I'm doing is like, for example, you're in an organization. So yesterday someone did a change, and then you did this process of creating the launch template. And then today someone else did a change, maybe a developer pushed something, and now you have to create another launch template. So this is the process. Now we have two images, image from yesterday and image for today. So we want our launch template to use the image for today. So we come to our launch templates just the same way. Select this launch template because the auto-scaling group will always be coming to check this launch template. You don't have to go to the auto-scaling group and rename another launch template and create a launch template afresh. So you just come here, And then let me just bring this up. Come to actions, you select it, come to actions, and then you modify template, create new version, select that one. And then for this version, I'll call it challenge launch template 2, like that. That's our version description. And then when I come to my AMIs, I'll select, okay, you can see here, let me just, the drop down, we have to. So we want the test image. So we select that one. And then everything, we leave it as default. It has picked the instance type. We don't need a key pair. Default security group, and that's it. And then you create the template version. Now that you've created the template version, you come back to your original launch template, and then you come to actions, and we're going to set a default version. And for version, you can see we have 2, 1 and 2. So we want our new image to be picked as the default version. So we're going to pick 2, and then we set as default version. And you can see here the default version is 2 and latest is 2. So that is what happens when you have multiple images and you have to keep doing this manually. So any questions up to there? Anyone with a question? Okay, it's like everyone is okay up to that point. So that aside, now you've seen the importance of creating these snapshots. That's the importance. So in our case, automating this process, because you can see it's time consuming and it's a lot of work. So to automate it, we have 3 different ways of doing it. The first, and okay, it's not, they are all easy different ways. You can use the lifecycle manager. You can choose to use Cloudforce events or Lambda functions. So for today, I'm going to demonstrate one. And then after that, I'll leave the challenge to you guys so that you can go and try out Lambda functions and Cloudforce events. So we're going to do lifecycle manager. So to create a lifecycle manager, the lifecycle manager, what it does, you'll give it rules, and it will use those rules to either create new snapshots or delete the old ones. And it makes life easier for any DevOps or solutions architect. So we're going to lifecycle manager, select it, and then click next step, and it will bring you here to the interface. So this is very easy. So we're going to create a lifecycle for a volume, our EBS volume. Now, the importance of tagging your services. You need to tag them. And I'll just open a new tab. Let me just search for our EC2 and open it in a new tab. That. So, when you come to our instances, I'll select the one we're using right now, and I'll come to tags. You can see we have a tag name, and you can manage tags and create more if you need to create more. So these tags are very important. And if we go to our volumes, want to see if it's tagged, this one, and if you come to tags, you can see that it has a tag. So we'll go back here to our life cycle, and then which our target is our EBS volume. So we're going to use the name tag, and the name for our EBS volume, let's find it. It's called challenge 9 EBS, and then you click add. Now we've added one target, and then you give it a description. You can call it a challenge 9 life cycle. Let me just call it life cycle manager, LCM, like that. And then you can choose to use a default IAM role. You can go and research more about it, and you can choose to add tags. For policy status, you have to leave it as enabled so that it can start working immediately. Click next, and then now here you need to create a schedule. Maybe your organization requires you to take snapshots maybe 2 times a day, or 2 times a month or a week. So it will depend with how frequent do the developers make changes, or maybe the DevOps. How frequent do they push critical changes that need to be up and running or saved critical workload? So we're going to call this a schedule. Okay, challenge 9 schedule, like that. Yes, and then frequency. You can choose either daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, or you can create a custom one. Okay, when they say custom cron expression, it means like, what is a cron job? Okay, I know this is a new term for most of you. So a cron job is something that it's scheduled to run at given times. Maybe you've scheduled something to run once a month, twice a year. So that's what they call it, a cron job. So you can choose to use daily or weekly. So let us choose weekly. If it's weekly, you want it to be the snapshot to be taken on Monday and maybe Wednesday. So you just select at what time. Maybe you want it to happen at 9 a.m. or p.m. You just choose there. The count. Okay. You can choose any number you want. You can just choose 1. It can't be 0, it has to be 1 and above. And then after you've configured this, the time, the schedule, you just click review policy, review everything, and then you can create it. And once it's created, it will always be taking snapshots of our EBS volume. And remember, it's our default, the EBS volume that is attached to our EC2 instance. So anytime a developer makes changes, our EBS volume will be different. It will have the changes. So anytime the lifecycle manager creates the snapshots, it will always use the latest one. And this lifecycle manager can also delete. It will delete the old ones and create the new ones. And it will avoid a lot of things, maybe the cost. So like you've seen, I've created manually. Maybe you forget to delete the images. You know, it will incur charges. And now for manual process, you have to come here and delete the old ones. Maybe you've created this one today, test image, you've created it today. Now you don't need this one anymore. Now you have to delete it. Just like that. You deregister it. And then now you have to remember that you had a snapshot, come there and also delete the snapshot, because you don't want to incur a lot of charges. And you might forget. It's very easy to forget. Yeah, and yeah, you can make errors and the organization might have to pay a lot of money. Yes. So that's basically the process of doing this manually and automating it. So any questions?
Marcrine,
Yes.
there's some questions in the chat by
Okay.
Jen.
Okay.
Can someone have snapshots on RDS too, or is it just on EC2 instances?
Oh yeah, snapshots on RDS. Yes. You can. RDS volumes.
Brian has raised his hand. Brian?
Basically, RDS is a managed service.
Yeah. So you can.
Basically, initiated an instance in the background. When a new instance is initiated, there's also a volume that basically when he's asking if RDS can, yes, because RDS basically uses EC2 instances in the underlying infrastructure.
Yeah, it's even here. I hope Jane can see it. We are on RDS and you can take snapshots. Thank you, Kefa.
Jane has raised her hand.
Yeah.
Yes, Marcrine, I just wanted to ask in relation to the deletion, other than doing it manually, when you're doing it under the lifecycle manager, I didn't see that part for deleting like the old snapshots.
Okay. Let me just go back. So, okay, where is it? Okay, you should define it in your policy. So, where is it? Where is it? Do I have to create a new one? Yeah, so retain rule. It will, okay, it's the retain rule. So it will always retain one EBS volume. So it will delete the rest.
Noted. Thank you. I thought the snapshots are like, is it possible for us to see the image itself?
Pardon?
Is it possible for us to see the image itself
Okay.
now that it's called snapshots?
The snapshots
like the
are here.
Volume?
The snapshots. They are here. And you can use this snapshot to create anything. Another volume, an image. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Welcome. So any other question?
There is a question from William Miner.
Yes.
What's the difference in using snapshots over AWS backup for backup?
Okay, backup. Okay. Does someone want to answer? Kefa?
I can probably chip in.
Okay, great.
Snapshots. Let me see. Snapshots more of that like specifically. So when you're running an EC2 instance, so we take a snapshot specifically. Now backup is a little bit of backup is a managed service. It covers a whole load of AWS services. Yeah. When you want to move things, so backup can start from whether you want to move, lift and shift a whole Windows. Let's say, for example, you want to to back up an entire. Maybe you have a Windows workload running on maybe FSX for last year. So it covers backup can cover a whole load of. It helps you to ease in a whole load of workload. Snapshot is more very, what do we call it, specialized, especially for EC2 instances when you're working with those particular servers. Backup it's a whole load of things, and it covers a whole wide range of things. Somebody can chip in if
That
they
was
want to help.
a great explanation. William, are you answered? Great. Okay. Any other questions? So I think everyone is ready to go and try the challenge now that it's easier. Okay, David?
Okay, thank you for giving me this opportunity. I just wanted to confirm whether whatever we've done here is we are capable of doing it on a Amazon free tier account.
Yes, I'm actually on the free tier account. Mine is not paid. So you're very much capable of doing it.
Okay, is it possible with the code?
Pardon?
Are we supposed to do this snapshot with the code? For example, if you are a Python developer and then you want to automate this using a code.
Yeah, you can use Lambda functions if you want to do using the code. Yeah, Lambda functions.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
And that's also available under free time.
Okay, Lambda functions are free. You can, yeah, it's very much available.
Okay, asante sana.
Okay. And to apply for credits, you can watch some of Kefa YouTube videos. Kefa, am I right? You do have some, right?
For applying for credit. Actually, for credits, I'm actually working on one. I'll send the link so that you
Great.
guys check out how to apply
Okay,
for a feature
just to
account.
inquire more on that, where will we find the link?
The link. The link I'll
Yes.
probably post it. You guys are in the group, Cloudforce. I'll
Yeah.
send the link there, and I'll probably get shared.
I'm sorry, I don't even have the link to the group.
We will post it in the LinkedIn page, and you can get it there. Once Kefa gives it to us, we'll post it in the LinkedIn page. You can find us on Cloud for Sky community on LinkedIn.
Okay,
Follow us and you'll get it.
Thank you very much.
Great.
Very insightful, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyone with a question or a concern or a clarification, anything? Jane, go ahead.
Yes, I see this meeting was about EBS snapshots, volume backups, and restoring. Have we dealt with the restoring? Does it deal with the deleted ones, or what is it all about restoring?
Okay, for restoring, just like I've explained, let's use the example of an auto-scaling group. So the organization has a load balancer and auto-scaling group. So when the developers make changes, the EBS volume will continue to grow with different things. So for restore purposes, if you're using an auto-scaling group, like I've shown you with the launch template, which is created from an image, an AMI image, and the AMI image is created from the EBS snapshot. So that's the restoring of it. Jen, did you get me? Nice. So Steve, do you want to add more information?
I'd actually like a clarification.
Great.
Did you say EBS doesn't have a cost?
No, I did not say that.
Okay.
It's only free for 8 GB, the one I selected. But if you go higher, the higher you go, the more you pay.
So thanks.
Yeah. So we've done a restore. Brian, go ahead.
Also, for example, if you create a snapshot and then you create a volume from a snapshot, and you probably want to restore it onto an EC2 instance. So there usually is a few Linux command that you need to actually do if you want to do it actually manually. So when you want to mount a particular volume to an instance, so it's usually a short thing. I don't know. I'll find it. I have it somewhere. I'll probably post it. So when you already have an EC2 instance running, and then you've created a snapshot, and then now you want to restore this particular snapshot, the volume that you create from a snapshot to the EC2 instance, you need to mount it to that particular running EC2 instance in order to kind of restore it.
Yeah. Hey, that's really nice, Brian. You're a Linux person, right?
Yeah. I'm on Linux, yeah.
Great. Any other questions? So after this, I'm expecting to see articles with automation scripts next week. Steve, I'm waiting for you, as William, everyone who was here, David, Jane, I'm waiting to see your articles nicely done with Lambda functions, even this lifecycle manager, you know, I've done it on a high level, so I need to see the deepness in it. Yeah, and I hope for the next session, one of you will actually come and showcase for us their work, the automated script working.
So that's
Yeah,
next
next week
week.
Wednesday.
Oh, next week Wednesday. So
Yeah, I'm waiting for those articles and yeah.
they will stream in.
Okay. You David will present for us, or Jane. Yeah. So I think I'll hand it over to Patrick or Leah.
Thank you, Marcrine. Thank you so much for an insightful webinar. Most of you have had Marcrine talk about challenge. So to see more challenges, to get access to more challenges and the solutions, please go to our website on www.cloudforce.sky.com and join the community. For you to have access to these challenges and their solutions, you have to be a member. There is a form you'll fill and a small challenge you will do, and then you'll be a member. Unfortunately, for today's webinar, it is not recorded, but we'll do something with the Marcrine and have something recorded, and we'll post it in our YouTube channel. Please find us on Cloudforce Sky on YouTube for other videos, educational videos. Yes, David?
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that for us to join this Cloudforce on www.cloudforce.sky, you just said that there is a challenge that we will need to solve for us to join it. Is
Yes,
it friendly
it's very
for
friendly.
newbies like me
It's
here?
very friendly. It's
Okay.
it's very friendly. It's not. If you have any problems, you reach out to us.
Okay, that's nice.
Our contacts are on the webpage. You just reach out to us.
Okay, I love
Yes.
that.
Okay. And you can follow us on LinkedIn so that you get other updates as soon as they come out. So if there are no questions, I'd like to close this. Is there anyone with any question? Anyone with a clarification, an inquiry, a comment?
Okay. Would you just mind sharing the LinkedIn link here, or I just search
Yes,
it?
it is shared in the chat. It's been shared in the chat by Lewis.
I can only see for the one for YouTube.
There's
the
one
website,
here.
the website, and the one for, is this for LinkedIn?
Yes.
And the one for the today's challenge.
There is LinkedIn down there.
Okay. I've seen it. Thank you.
Avena Magara, thank you for your comment. Yes, we always have this kind of sessions. So join us in the community, and thank you for your comment. We will keep having such sessions. So stay tuned for next week's webinar. If there is no question, I would like to end this with a good night. So good night, everybody. Bye-bye and see you next time.